up, guys? Good morning. I'm on my way into work, my day job, but I wanted to give a little backstory and just add a little timeline and some, I don't know, just some description of what's been going down. So on Saturday, Spencer, my buddy, he sent me a Facebook ad for a 2003 Mitsubishi Evolution with 58,000 original miles, clean title, and the person who was selling it was the original owner. They bought it brand new off the lot. And I knew right then and there, I was like, I gotta buy this car. When else am I gonna have the opportunity to own an Evo 8, low mileage, clean title, be the second owner? Knew I was gonna get it. All right, so I messaged him right away, the person on Facebook. Turns out he lived down the street from me, 3 minutes away. What are the chances? I was one of the first people to message him. He got back to me right away, said, "You're first in line. I could see you as early as tomorrow morning." I said, all right, cool. Got off work, drove straight there, walked up, met the guy, super nice. The car looks like trash. It is been sitting for a long time. The tags on the back, registration says 2008 was the last time it was registered. Tires are all dry rotted, barely holding air, all cracked. The factory red paint no longer, maybe under there, but it's all rattle can black, now faded to this whitish gray. And then he had some modifications done to the engine, slightly concerning, but he has no paperwork for them. But you can see some signs of modification, like it's got the big old HKS cam gears. He said stage 3 big cams, and you can hear it. It sounds like it's got some big cams, but it also sounds like it's got a really bad misfire. And the 4G63Ts, they're batch fire, like the factory coil setup in a 2JZ. So it has, I believe it's 1 and 4 firing together off the same coil, and then 2 and 3, cylinder 2 and 3 firing off another coil. So it's only 2 coils. So definitely need to do a coil on plug conversion. But anyways, we go there, I talk to the guy, and he's asking $12,000, and I know even at $12,000 the car's a steal, right? Like 58,000 original miles, the original owner, clean title, and the car has very little damage. It is really just in need of a bit of a paint job. But I go around, I walk around it, I compression test it, I get 115 in all cylinders. The interior is smoked, one of the windows doesn't go up, it's stuck down, and it's been raining out the whole time. I'm sure you guys can hear the rain in the video. But I walk around it, and I knew I wanted it, and I thought I was hitting the guy in the knees, thinking I was asking too much when I offered him $10,000, and he didn't even counter offer, didn't try to barter with me at all. He immediately just said, yeah, that's fine, I'll take 10. So the next day, Monday, when the bank's open, Spencer and I go pull the cash out and go up to the guy's house. Well, he told me it was on non-op. Lo and behold, that was untrue. And I looked it up on the California DMV website. It was $1,033 in back registration, so we're gonna either have to find a workaround there or just pony up and pay the $1,000 to register the thing. Even though it has cams, it does still have all the factory stuff other than the factory intake, but it came with the car when I bought it, so just put the factory intake back on. I might be able to smog it, and then it needs some body love, right? So
a little bit of a breakdown, but it's falling hard.
Either a new front bumper or the factory one repaired. It's got a couple. It's been in a little bit of a front end collision. The front bumper took a little bit of it, but for the most part, the little crash bar up front, right behind the bumper, like support, took the most of it. So I need a new one of those. Looked like the headlight tabs are all broken on the driver's side headlight, so the headlight lens is cracked, and then the headlight's a little bit pushed in underneath the hood, and it doesn't really line up right in the fender. So got to pull that out, see if we can't get that all straight. Other than that, it came with the factory red hood. It came with a carbon fiber hood on it. Came with the factory Evo wing. Came with the factory wheels, and then it came on some, I think they're Rays, they're Volk racing wheels. They're the CP7s, or yeah, I think the CP7s. I'll throw a picture of them up right here. Those are worth a little bit of money. I'll pull those off and put the factory end keys back on and run it on the factory wheels for now until we figure out a wheel and tire package. But as far as the plans for this thing, what I really want to do with it is kind of just like that OEM plus type of build. I want to have a car that's really nice, really clean, and really fun to drive without being too over the top. So obviously a car with this low mileage, you're not going to find another 2003 Evo with, what, I can't find one with under 100,000 miles for under $35,000. So the fact that we have this one for 10 grand, awesome, but I want to just clean it up, get it resprayed in the same factory Mitsubishi red color that it came in, get all the body panels back on it. So I want the bumper back on, the Evo wing, and we're gonna put the factory hood back on and sell the carbon fiber one. And then as far as in the engine, so he had the big cams, and then also he had a manual boost controller in there, and then none of the gauges on the interior were hooked up. So the instrument cluster worked, but it had 3 gauges to the right in the center console. It has the boost gauge, the air fuel ratio gauge, and then a exhaust temperature gauge. None of them were working, so I pulled the center console out and was messing around with the wires. And I found that it must have had a super fuel controller in it, or a Greddy electronic boost controller at one time, because I found some of the old remnants of that stuff. But I got the boost gauge working, and then I took it for a drive, and it still wants to die, and it's breaking up a little bit. But I noticed that it was trying to make all the boost, right? It was like, it got into like, right as it hit 3,000 RPM, it started making over 10 pounds, and I definitely didn't think that the factory 4G63T would make over 8 from the factory. So I knew that boost controller, that manual boost controller, was cranked way up. I pulled back to my place, pulled the manual boost controller off, looped the line just straight from the turbo into the wastegate, and then took it for another rip, and now it's making 8 pounds every time, and the car's super happy. It's not over boosting at all. It's just making what it's supposed to. The ECU's happy, but then it was still breaking up just a little bit in the higher end, or like anytime I was in the second or third gear. So took it back to the house, got some spark plugs. I didn't want to do the coil packs from O'Reilly's because I would be wasting, I think it's $65, $70 per coil, and I would obviously want to replace both coils. So $120, or I just save a little bit more money, spend the $350, $500 to convert it to coil on plug. So I just bought the spark plugs. I replaced all the spark plugs, took it for a drive, check engine light turned off, and the misfire went away, and it just, with new plugs, the thing was ripping, pulling all the way through. I'll post a clip here. It's hard to film by myself, and it's been raining this whole time, so I don't have the best footage of the process, but here's the pull. Yeah, so after that, just took it home, made sure everything was good, and it still wants to die at idle. It doesn't really want to idle that well, and I don't know if that's due to the coil packs, but I mean, it doesn't really sound like it's misfiring anymore. It doesn't pull like it's misfiring. It pulls strong. So I think the ECU is just not too stoked with these big old cams. The guy didn't know very much about cars at all, so he didn't really wasn't really the best historian. He wasn't able to give us the best history of the car and tell us like what cams they were, or if anything was done. He said something about a piggyback ECU when we looked at it, and it's this legit piggyback Omni chip engine controller from 2003. It's got the quality assurance tag on it with the date. It's pretty crazy. It's just some ancient tech. But it came with a factory cam, so if I can't get this resolved, maybe I'll go to and then just pull the top end apart and put the factory cams back in, and just still run those HKS cam gears, and hopefully that would fix the problem with it wanting to sputter and die out when it's trying to idle. So just anything low RPM stuff, it just wants to drop, like float around the 700 RPM range and then die. But other than that, I bought the stuff to do an oil change. I bought some Valvoline VR1 and a new Canon oil filter. Air filter still looks good. And then yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna be doing all kinds of modifications to this thing. Just we're gonna bring it back to life, right? This thing's abandoned. It's been sitting since 2008. No one's been driving it. I remember seeing this car sitting on the side of the road as a kid, always wondering, like, oh man, is that a guy ever gonna do anything with it? Do you think he would ever want to sell it? And then lo and behold, the day comes and we were able to pick it up. So I'm really excited for this. I hope you guys are too. Stay tuned, and then this should be good. It should be one of my best builds yet. But if I get any opportunity for like kind of like a shop update, I know it's been a while since I posted on this channel, and I haven't really been posting too much content, but a lot of life has changed, and life gets busy with obviously friends, family, and on that grind with your real full-time job, making it. So we got a new shop garage in my house that I bought, but it's a big place, 2.5 car garage. It's got lifts, hoists. We redid a bunch of the stuff in the garage, redid the cabinets, got a nice 1/2-inch thick steel workbench, plenty of parking at the new house with the it being a corner lot. Got parking and driveways on both sides with the carport in the backyard. But yeah, we'll be posting more, so stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, and have fun with cars. Go do fun stuff with your friends. Do what makes you happy. Don't let the internet get you down. Have a good one.